Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're doing the 10K Q&A special. So we're going to be answering some of the questions that you guys left us in the Discord and in the comments down below. So let's get to answering the questions. Do you think it'd be hard to become a pro player right now? And the answer is yes. I think it would be really hard to become a top pro right now, especially if you haven't been playing in tournaments already. Honestly, the pro players right now have just so much competitive experience and so much knowledge that they have a huge advantage over new players, but it isn't impossible. You'd have to put in a lot of time and you'd have to really grind, and that comes to the next question. Also, what advice would you give to an aspiring pro? So the best advice I can give is to start playing in tournaments if you haven't already, and to watch over the games you lose. The most important thing is to learn from your mistakes, learn from your losses. So record the games, look them over, and see what the other team did better to win the game, as well as what were your biggest mistakes that game. That way you can practice your decision making, and then you can slowly get better and better at your decision making. What is the hardest thing to overcome in competitive Brawl Stars in order to win? Is it predicting what comp the other team will use, or is it just executing your game plan? Honestly, I think the hardest thing to overcome, or at least for me, the hardest thing to overcome in competitive Brawl Stars is to not get nervous and to not panic. I think the easiest thing to do in really bad situations is to panic and try to, make a hero play, try to, kill everybody in the lobby, and it's just not going to work out most of the time. If one of your teammates die, I see too many teams try to, just compensate for that by trying to 2v3, and then everyone ends up dying and it just gets so much worse. So again, I think the biggest thing is to not panic, take your time, wait for your teammate to come back and play the game like it's supposed to, 3-on-3. What is your most memorable win in competitive Brawl Stars? So I think my most memorable win would have been last year, the first qualifier of last year. We ended up winning it, and that meant we qualified for the first LAN event, which was in Poland. So again, at that point, once we qualified to go to Poland, we actually realized as a team, we actually have a shot to make Worlds this year. So that was probably my most memorable win. Did you go to college? If so, what was your major? If not, why not? So yes, I did go to college. Right after I graduated from high school, I went to college and I studied 2 years in business. I actually graduated with a degree in business. I did have plans to, continue and to major in either accounting or finance. That was kind of my main plan. But after 2 years of studying business, I started losing interest in it, as well as I was really getting into competitive Brawl Stars at that point. So I really wanted to focus on Brawl Stars, give it, 100% of my focus to see if I could actually make it work. And so I decided to, stop after 2 years and just to focus on Brawl. Do you like dogs? Yes, I love dogs. I have a dog of my own. She's 5 years old and her name is Mia. She's a golden retriever and she's honestly pretty crazy, but I love her. Story of joining Tribe. Did you get scouted by other esports organizations first? What was the process like? So honestly, last year when we were with Omen Elite for most of the year, then we disbanded or at least Omen Elite disbanded. Then we were no longer with an org. We started talking to organizations, but at that point we were so far into the year that we decided, we'll probably just stick it out as free agents until we actually qualify for Worlds. We believed in ourselves, and once we qualified for Worlds, that's when we seriously started talking to organizations, as well as we were in contact with Tribe for a long time before that. But again, once we qualified for Worlds, that's when we seriously sat down with Tribe and a couple other esports orgs, and Tribe was the best fit for us at the time, so we made a deal with Tribe for Worlds as well as the next year after. Why did you start YouTube, and are you going to do collabs with other content creators in Tribe? So I've been wanting to do YouTube for a very long time, but honestly, I had no idea how to start. I've seen so many pro players and so many content creators become so successful and become such great YouTubers, and I just wanted to try it myself. But honestly, I had no idea where to start. And once I joined Tribe, honestly, Tribe gave me all the tools and teach me the ropes of how YouTube works and how to do it. And so honestly, if it wasn't for Tribe, I probably would never have started YouTube. So again, big thanks to Tribe, especially Uday. Uday has taught me so much about YouTube. So again, shout out to Uday. And the second part of this question, are you going to do collabs with other content creators in Tribe? The short answer is yes, I do plan to do collaborations with other content creators. I just wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing, and that way when we do collaborations, it's going to be super smooth, and that way there's no hiccups or no mistakes, and that way it's super easy for both of us. All right, who's your editor? Because he's doing an amazing job. Now, this was probably the most requested question out of all the comments. And guys, I use the tribe editors. I use multiple editors, but mainly there's two of them, which is Afro and Alan. These guys are honestly amazing, and I can't thank them enough for doing such amazing work on my edits. Who is your favorite tribe content creator? And guys, this is a extremely tough question because honestly, I love all of them. They are so fun to work with, every single one of them. And they actually all taught me so much about YouTube and so much about, you know, just making content in general. So I learned so much from them all. And yeah, I love them all. What team were you in before Tribe and who were your teammates? So I've had actually a bunch of teams before Tribe. You know, I actually competed with Spen for a little while until the game split up into regions. Spen was actually one of my first teammates ever. But you know, my most notable teams were in 2019 when I played for Nova. I played with Portal, Shadow Jitsu, Supercell, and Mateus. I was actually supposed to play with Eric EX as well, but Eric decided at the time he couldn't commit to Brawl Stars. And then in 2020, I played with Tyrant, Supercell, Lance, and Zulan. What motivates you to make awesome videos with great spirit? And honestly, guys, it's the comments. I love reading every single comment that you guys leave down below. They honestly cheer me up so much, and I just love reading, you know, all the feedback you guys have and all the supportive messages you guys have. And it just keeps me wanting me to make more videos for you guys. So again, appreciate every single comment. What were your parents' reactions when you told them you wanted to go pro, and were they supportive or reluctant? So honestly, my parents weren't that supportive really on in my journey of becoming a pro player. So when I first started out and I told them, hey guys, look, I actually have a chance at this. You know, my dad was like, you know, you still have to work and you have to make sure you're making money from something else. Otherwise, you know, you can't just be playing video games all day. And once I finally started winning and, you know, they started seeing more and more results, I think it was when I actually went to Dallas, my first ever LAN event, when they finally realized, okay, this is a real thing. And even then, when I went to Dallas, my mom was super skeptical. She wasn't sure how she felt about it. But after I went to Dallas and finished second place, that's when I think they started realizing that this is real and that there is actually a possibility of me becoming a pro player. But now, guys, honestly, my parents are super supportive now. They weren't at the start, but again, now they are really supportive. They understand at least more about the game. They understand, you know, kind of how it is to become a pro player. Again, they still don't love it completely, and I don't know if, you know, many parents really do love it that much, but they definitely are supportive and they at least understand it now. How do you maintain composure under pressure? What calls do you guys have in VC if someone makes a big mistake? So this is a great question, and the first part of this question, I think it comes with competitive experience. I think it's really hard to stay calm under pressure until you know, play in a bunch of tournaments, and then you're no longer that nervous when you're playing. But again, still, even I get nervous even now in playing in tournaments, just because, you know, the stakes are always high, and it is just something that's really hard to deal with. You do get better with it over time. But the second part of this question, what calls do you guys have in VC if someone makes a big mistake? And this is extremely important to any team dynamic or any sport that you guys play. It's very, very important that you be supportive of your teammates, even if they make a mistake or even if they mess up. You have to, you know, pick them up. You say, it's okay, focus on the next one, whatever the case may be. This is extremely important, and this is something our team does very, very well. If someone makes a mistake, we pick each other up, and that way, you know, everybody forgets about the mistakes pretty quickly, and we move on, and then that's how we win more games. How did you meet Zulan, Tyrant, and Raz? So I'm gonna go individually just because my story for each of them is a little bit different. So I met Tyrant back in 2019 when we were playing for Nova. At the time, I was playing with Supercell and Mateus, and he was practicing with Portal and Shadow. So I was scrimming against Tyrant a lot in 2019, and that's when I realized he was a really, really good player. So then in 2020, when I saw that he got dropped from SSG, I was like, hey man, you know, why don't you join our team? Why don't we start competing together? And because I thought he was really, really good, so that's why I asked him to join my team. So how I met Zulan was probably at the start of 2020. I actually knew who Zulan was before the start of 2020, but really when I got to know Zulan was at the start of 2020 when he became a free agent. I knew he was a good player. I knew he was part of like a top 3 team in North America at the time. So then we were going into the first monthly qualifier, and 2 of our players couldn't actually travel. So we needed another player that we knew could travel. So I DM'd Zulan. He was actually the first person I messaged to join our team. I said, hey man, you know, I have a weird proposal for you. And that's basically how it was. He accepted, and we joined, he joined our team, and then he came to Poland with us. So I met Raz last year in 2020. We were playing against him a lot last year. He was playing for Tempo Storm Academy, so we knew who he was and we knew he was a really strong player. So then in 2021, when Sai went to a coaching position, we needed a new player. So we held tryouts, Raz tried out, and honestly guys, we thought he had so much potential and he was a great player, so we decided to pick him up for 2021. How many hours do you need to play to become a pro player, as well as how many hours do I play a day? So the answer to this question varies depending on the person. There is no specific answer of how many hours you actually need to play to become a pro. It honestly depends per person. Now there's people that are super naturally gifted that can be a pro player just with a few hours played, which is honestly kind of crazy. But for people that, you know, don't have quite the mechanical skill, that need to, you know, develop those skills, sometimes it takes a lot of hours to get those skills to become a pro player. So again, there's really no answer to this question. But then the second part, how many hours do I play a day? And again, this one varies a lot. So if there's a big competition coming up, I start to actually grind a little bit more, so probably like 4 to 5 hours a day when a competition is coming up. But if there's no competition coming up and we kind of have, you know, a slow week, again, I probably play like 2 hours a day, maybe 1 to 2 hours a day, so not too much. But yeah. All right, what was your favorite tribe episode that you were in? And honestly, this is a really hard question because I love being in every single tribe episode, to be honest. But I think one of my favorites would probably be one of the first videos I ever recorded, which was the weakest link. I think that one was really fun to record. And again, that was probably like my first or second ever recorded video with Tribe, and I was nervous, but these guys made it super fun and I loved it. What's the hardest part about being a pro player? Honestly, I think it's to stay motivated, to keep grinding, because if you don't grind, you're honestly gonna fall off, and that's the hardest thing about this, is that to stay motivated. This is a really long tournament when you think about it. There's 8 months before Worlds, so you have to stay focused every single month. Otherwise, if you miss a month, it could cost you your world spot. So guys, staying motivated is extremely tough. How old are you and how did you start playing Brawl Stars? Will you start streaming, and will you apply for a creator code one day? So I'm 22 years old right now, and I started playing Brawl Stars because my friends just showed me the game, honestly, and we started grinding the game a lot together. Eventually they quit and I just kept playing because I loved the game, and I kept grinding and grinding. And then will you start streaming and will you apply for a creator code one day? I do actually stream a little bit on Twitch, and you can go check that out in the description down below, but I don't stream too much. But again, I do stream every once in a while, so yeah. And will you apply for a creator code one day? Yes, I would love to have a creator code one day, but again, we are still relatively new to YouTube, guys. We still have a lot to learn before we get a creator code. I need to keep grinding, and I need to keep getting better at making videos for you guys. And yeah, we still got a ways to go, but obviously I would love a creator code one day. All right, so I love this question. When do you think Sven LC will hit Masters? Please pick my question. Never. JK, I love you, Sven. Hopefully soon. Have you ever felt the immediate urge to lick a stop sign? And the answer is, honestly, I can't say I have. Do you have a girlfriend? And the answer is no, I do not have a girlfriend. I play way too much video games to have a girlfriend. How did you feel about losing the July monthly finals to STMN? Honestly, guys, this loss was really hard for me personally, just because of the way I felt. I honestly felt like I let my team down this month. And there's not many times throughout my Brawl Stars career that I actually felt like I really let my team down. But this month, I really did. I really struggled. I made a couple really bad plays. It kind of cost us the entire month. So this month was really hard on me personally. But you know, we moved past it. We're moving forward, and I feel a lot better now. How did you become a pro player? So guys, honestly, I just competed in tournaments at the start of Brawl Stars. I played in basically every single tournament released, and I started to make a name for myself. And honestly, when the big tournaments started popping up, Nova, which was one of the first organizations in Brawl Stars, they hit me up and they were like, hey, we want you to be a pro player for our team. And that's when it kind of became official. I was playing in tournaments, I made a name for myself, I got hit up from Nova, and I signed my first ever pro player contract. And so that's when I kind of became an official pro player. Do you have another job other than Brawl Stars? And yes, I actually have 2 jobs other than Brawl Stars. So one, I do carpentry work in the summer. I haven't been doing as much carpentry work this summer because I've been focused on Brawl and YouTube. But again, I've been doing a lot of carpentry work in the past, as well as I'm actually a full-time lobster fisherman, believe it or not. So yeah. Do you play any other Supercell games or just any video games in general? So yes, guys, I'm a big gamer. I play a bunch of different games other than Brawl Stars. I actually play in Wild Rift competitively with some other Brawl Star players. We have been actually performing pretty well. We finished top 4 in a $10,000 Team Liquid tournament, as well as we just finished top 8 in the first ever monthly qualifier. We needed to finish top 4, but again, we finished top 8, so not bad. As well as I've been playing a little bit of Pokemon Unite recently. I really enjoy it. But yeah, so I play a ton of games. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Now, I wanted to thank you guys again so much for 10K subs. You guys are absolutely amazing. And hopefully I answered most of your guys' questions. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.